prior to, I didn't have a plan. Everything I was doing was very reactionary. I didn't know what my day was going to look like, and then getting that structure and being able to implement the daily success plan has definitely been probably the number one tool that's helped me in my business for sure.
Nice. Hey, welcome to the Loan Officer Growth Podcast, the podcast that helps loan officers grow their business, increase their success, and have more freedom. This is going to be a fun day. Today we're talking to Jason Wagner. Jason, he's a loan officer in Southeast Texas, and he stayed really strong with his business throughout the last few months, runs a successful mortgage business. Awesome guy. So, Jason, how long have we known each other?
What's going on, my man? It's been since December of 21 or December of 2020. I think that's whenever I started with the Freedom Club.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I forgot to say Jason's a member of the Freedom Club of the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Good stuff. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started.
Okay, yeah, so I got started in 2006. I was just graduating college, didn't know what I was going to do. My cousin, he had a mortgage branch that he had been running for probably about a decade at that time. And so I just went to him and said, hey, I just graduated. I don't know what I'm going to do, but can you teach me what it is that you do here? I couldn't even spell mortgage back in 2006. So I was his assistant for about a year. And then after that, he said, go on, you're on your own now. So get out and close some deals.
That's so typical, right? That's how we all, there's like no training. It's just like, go get some business.
Had no clue what I was doing.
So what's happened over the past few years? How have you grown your business? What does that look like?
So I guess I'll kind of back up a little bit here. In 2020, I had very good year that year. But I was working, 7 days a week, 80 hours a week probably. And I knew that there was other people out there that were having success and not having to work, that many hours, that many days a week. So that's whenever I joined, the Freedom Club. I'd been listening to all the podcasts and finally did my strategy call and said, hey, I'm all in. Because at that time I was still running everything. I was a one-man band. Didn't really have any assistants or anything. And fast forward to the next year, in 21, I had a great year, which we all had a great year. But I was able to do that and be at home by 4:30 and not working 7 days a week and putting in 80 hours a week. And then of course last year was, a little downturn, but starting to pick back up, seeing some positive things coming up.
Nice. So what does your team look like now?
So now it is me, my son, he's a licensed loan assistant, and my wife. She's kind of she's the unicorn, and she keeps us online, tells us what we need to do, and so she's the one behind the scenes keeping us in line here.
Nice. So it's a family business. Yeah. Do you leverage that? Because people love to work with family businesses.
I do. At work, this is the only time I can tell her what to do.
You probably almost can't do that either, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Awesome. That is so cool. So think about what two resources that you'd be like, man, if it wasn't for these two things, I wouldn't be where I'm at today?
Well, for one, MMA. I mean, having a plan, the DSP, because prior to, I didn't have a plan. Everything I was doing was very reactionary. I didn't know what my day was going to look like, and then getting that structure and being able to implement the daily success plan has definitely been probably the number one tool that's helped me in my business. for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I guess another tool would be Haymarket. It's the text campaign platform that I use in order to reach out to clients, realtors, set up campaigns. That's also been a pretty cool tool that I've been able to implement here within the last a little bit over a year now.
So what do you tell us about, what do you do with Haymarket? What are some of the things that you can do with that?
Yeah, so you have the ability to create lists, different types of lists. I have a realtor list. I have past clients. I have funded loans, and from a loan officer standpoint, I get a new lead in. I can set them up on a lead campaign that's constantly texting, reaching out to them in order to get a response, to then have a complete application on that lead. And then once they're pre-approved, I can then set them up on a pre-approved and looking campaign, where it's just sending them out, text messages over the next 30 days, while they're house hunting. Once the loan closes and funds, I put them on a funded loan campaign. So it texts them, the next day, asking for a Google review, and then it texts them quarterly, for the next year.
Nice.
I use that for my Thursday text out to realtors. And then also on your past clients, I can send out a mass text that, says Merry Christmas. Just thinking about you, wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. Let me know if you ever have any questions. So it's been a pretty cool tool, and it's been fun to use. I've enjoyed using it.
So you get a lot of response from those text messages?
I do.
Because you have, yep. They're kind of like, obviously they're branded to you, but people feel like you sent them a personal text, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then does Haymarket, so you said you have a list of realtors and you send them a text every Thursday. So when the text, how long does it take to send that? Is it set up where it sends it to everybody, but it looks like it's just one from you to them?
Correct. Yep. And so I'll do that throughout the week, usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll schedule it to go out Thursday morning at 9:30, and then it's gone. And then I can hear my phone just ding, ding, ding with responses.
Nice.
Throughout there. And a lot of the realtors talking, they know that I'm sending out to several realtors, but it does go to them individually, and it's not a group text.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And you've got campaigns for all the other groups. Even, I think you had told me earlier, you have a campaign for like credit repair, where it goes kind of drips to them. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that sends them, I think it's 10 or 12 throughout the next year. So it's sending them, just kind of checking in, some credit tips, some credit information, just, while they're on that, credit repair journey. So that way we can get them mortgage ready in the future.
Very cool. I love it. Let's go back to your team. Who was your very first hire? So you said a couple of years ago it was you. You're a one-man band. Who was your first hire? And if you had to do it all over, what position would it still be your first hire?
So my first hire was Hunter Terrell. He was dating the boss's daughter, actually. And we were having dinner one night and just talking about mortgages and coming on, and he was going to come on as a processor, and I convinced the boss to let him come on to be a part of my team. And he was just didn't really know what I was going to have him do. I just knew I needed some help.
Right.
And we kind of just figured that out along the way, on what he was going to do. To do it over again, I would have done an Acts of Freedom first to determine what things I needed to get off my plate.
Yeah.
Because we kind of were just winging it until I was able to complete the Acts of Freedom and kind of design what that position was going to look like.
Yeah, that makes sense. And for those of you that don't know what the Acts of Freedom is, that's a mortgage marketing animal process of this building out a structured who does what. So a responsibility checklist of exactly who does what. And a great way to put that together is your next hire. You write down exactly what you're going to have them do. So when they start, you've already got a list of their tasks and duties. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense that having that done first would be very helpful.
Right. Yep.
Very cool. So so he started, and then what did he do? Was he like a loan partner to you?
He was a loan partner. He did a lot of the gathering of the paperwork, uploading it to the file. Um, I mean, he ran DE findings for me, um, disclosures, um, chase conditions, and then I started letting him kind of take care of getting some of the stuff off of my plate, as far as calling the borrowers weekly, and where I would call the realtors and he would call the borrowers, give them an update on every Tuesday, ask for the business, and I was taking care of the realtors.
So you have him helping you out on the back end. So when he was doing those tasks, did that give you more time to prospect, and did your business increase at that point?
It did. Yep. It definitely gave me more time to prospect, meet with realtors, teach classes, the things that I like to do.
Awesome. So yeah, it's kind of like Carl White talks about, write small checks to make big checks.
Right.
Or cash big checks. Yeah, that's cool. So what's your favorite part of your job? What do you love to do? What's that one thing?
I like teaching classes. I have fun doing that. Um, it's something that I didn't get to do really any during 2020, due to COVID. But
Right.
once 21, 22, I started teaching you know lunch and learns, realtor panels. We're actually doing one next week. Um, and most of the classes that I do usually don't have much to do with mortgage loans or mortgage products. It's usually geared for the real estate agents to help them, with their prospecting activities, marketing to their database, the daily success plan for realtors, business planning. So it's I enjoy that probably more than anything else, I'd say.
That's awesome. So tell me about the realtor panels. Like, what does that look like?
So this will be our second one to do this year, and we have 10 agents from Southeast Texas, all work for completely different companies, and we're just going to ask them, a bunch of questions. I kind of stole this from Steve Kyles, and reached out to him and how he structured it and what questions he asked, and he was gracious enough to send me over the list of questions that he did at his realtor panel, and we had probably 65 agents show up to the last one.
Wow.
Hoping we have as much coming up this next week.
65 agents showed up? That is awesome.
Yeah.
So did you qualify those agents afterwards so you know who to follow up with, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I've got to do a better job of that. I have the list from everybody that showed up, and a lot of them there I know, and I know which ones are qualified, but that's definitely something that I've got to do a better job on for the ones who showed up, because of course we're getting their business card, for everyone that attends.
Right.
But definitely need to do a better job of qualifying those that did attend.
Okay, so the list are all the business cards. Did you put that? Do you follow up with them via email, text message? Like, what does that follow up look like?
So I can actually create a list in Haymarket and put all the agents in there and send out a text just to them, so it comes across individually, saying, "Hey, thanks for attending our realtor panel, blah blah blah."
Nice. So you're a very successful loan officer. You're doing really well, especially, during these times it's a little different than normal, and you're still doing really, really well. What is one unique skill that has helped you become successful?
I think it's just implementing the daily success plan and living by the calendar, doing the day-to-day prospecting activities that we know in this market, are going to move the needle. I mean, that's been the main thing.
So like, what does that look like if you break it down per the week? Like I know a lot of people on listening to this podcast may not know what that is. So what kind of is that breakdown?
Yeah, so Mondays, reaching out to my Focus 40 realtors that I'm currently doing business with, the agents that I'm targeting, wanting to do business with. Tuesdays, making my pipeline update calls. Wednesdays, marketing to my database and past clients. And Thursdays, reaching out to my pre-approved and looking clients that aren't currently under contract, as well as reaching out to the realtor referral partner that sent them over to me.
So literally you prospect about 8 hours a week.
Yes, at least.
Yeah,
Some days it takes me a little bit longer, but yes, every day it's in my calendar. For those 2 hours, my assistant knows that's what I'm doing. So I tell them, hey, it's gonna have to wait till 11:05. Then you got me.
yeah, that's awesome because there's a study that was done that the average loan officer prospects 15 minutes a week, or I'm sorry, no, a month.
Yep.
So the average loan officer prospects 15 minutes a month, and you're doing it 8+ hours a week.
And I was one of those that stats probably prior to joining MMA. I definitely wasn't. I knew it was the number one thing that would move the needle, but just didn't do it. Didn't have the structure. Didn't have the scripts.
Right.
So I was part of that stat before.
Nice. So if you were to start over, what would you do differently?
I would have got a plan and joined MMA a decade ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd imagine the difference with that
Yeah.
plan. And it's funny because so many loan officers right now, they don't have a plan. Their companies don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. It's just, we got to get business. What do? We got to
Yep.
run out, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, there's no school of mortgage,
Right.
unfortunately.
So what were some roadblocks that you've had in the past?
I guess in the past, not knowing, well, I guess for one, not knowing what agents were qualified, what agents did I need to be targeting, because then I just become, a friend to them, but they don't have any business to send to me. So,
Right.
Not targeting, the right agents. Another thing was my cell phone, being held to that, not having assistance with answering those phone calls as they come in. So those are things that I've been able to change and implement that were, I guess, kind of holding me back, prior to the past couple of years here.
Yeah. So now if you're on appointments, somebody else answers the phone and they don't go to voicemail.
Correct.
That's huge. That is so huge. Yeah.
Yep.
I think, and I don't know the exact study, but I did hear that like 85% of people, if they hit voicemail, they're just going to call the next lender.
Yep.
But if they talk to somebody, even if it's not you, they talk to somebody, they'll wait for a call back.
Right.
It's so crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you guys use Ring Central, or what system do you use?
So it's through the company that services our IT department. They have a software that they use, and I just ported my number into that system. So
Oh, cool.
so whenever it calls, it rings me, my wife, and my son, all at the same time. So then I got myself a new personal cell number that goes out to close friends and family. My sister didn't even have it until this past Christmas.
That's awesome. So you prospect 2 hours a day. You're pretty consistent with it, I guess. What methods do you use to stay focused on that? Like how do you there's a lot of loan officers that want to do that, but they just don't. So how do you keep focused?
I just do it. It's in the calendar. It pops up 15 minutes before 9, and it says mark it to your database today. And
Yep.
we just do it.
So it's in your calendar and you just follow that.
Yep. Do whatever it takes.
So what do you say to somebody who says, well, I have it in my calendar, but I got a contract over the weekend and I got to do that. I've got other obstacles that got in the way. What would you say to them?
They'll still be there at 11:05.
Yep. So do those things at 11, do your prospecting 9 to 11, no matter what.
Yep.
Awesome.
Or I'll have, if we have a contract come in the morning, I'll have somebody on my team start working on it.
That's cool. Well, cool, man. It's been awesome talking to you. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to tell loan officers? Like, what can they do to stay focused, stay consistent? Any final thoughts with that?
I'd say start with the Loan Officer Breakfast Club for sure. I'd say that's a free and easy way to get started. Definitely I'd tap in there first, and then after that jump on and over to MMA, then the Freedom Club. That's
awesome. Yeah, if you don't know what Loan Officer Breakfast Club is, that is a 30-minute meeting. How would you explain it?
30 minutes of loan officers from all across the United States talking about what activities we're doing today, what challenges we're having, what successes we're having, because somebody on that call might have an answer to the question that you need to find out.
Yep, and it's free, and it's just a great way to start your day. Yep, that is so cool. All right, man, it's been great talking to you.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate it.
Yep, you bet. And so I appreciate you, Jason, and anybody that, this podcast is here to help you as a loan officer. It is powered by Remote Assistant Scout. So if anybody has any questions about hiring a virtual assistant, you can just go to remoteassistantscout.com and set up a free 15-20 minute strategy call where we can answer any questions. So cool. All right, man. Well, it's good talking to you, and thanks for being on the podcast. I appreciate you.
You too. We'll talk soon.